Welcome to Learning Life Skills Together. This is our weekly community Zoom meeting where our guests help us to go deeper into the 4 life skills and open up a huge array of chances to practice them. Hello, everyone. This is Learning Life Skills Together Zoom meeting number 81 with Julia Steiner, our good friend from the Brandywine Conservancy. We have been partnering with them and talking with them since the very start of Learning Life Skills Together. They were the third Zoom meeting that we did. So it's great to have Julia here with us. And as usual, though, before we get going, we're going to put a pause in and get ourselves sort of maybe settled in a little bit to listen and to talk. So if you'd like, you could close your eyes if you're in a place where that would be okay for you. If you're driving, please don't do this. And so just opening up to the sounds that are around you, whether your eyes are closed or not. Just allowing the sounds to come to you. So we have eyelids and we can shut things off, but we don't have earlids. So everything just comes in. And we can let it do that and just relax into those things that are coming. So maybe just settling in to that, letting your body settle as you sort of accept the sounds that are coming to you. Maybe you notice a lot of sounds. Maybe they come to you almost one at a time. Maybe there's a background sound that just goes on and on. However it is, just letting it be there. Maybe tuning into your body and noticing if it settles at all. And you might take a deeper breath now in through your nose and out through your mouth. You could try another one. And when you're ready, you could be a little more focused in your listening and open your eyes if they've been closed. So, Julia, how was that for you? How are you in this moment?
I'm feeling much more relaxed and more present so that I can effectively share some wonderful resources with listeners. So
All right.
thank you for that. It's so nice
Wonderful.
to be here.
Yes. So, we talked last week about back to school because it's the beginning of August and those thoughts start to come into our minds. Maybe disturb us a little bit, give us a little bit of anxiety. And one of the things that we talked about last time was that it's really good to, one, talk about how we feel. And one of the things that we recommended about that was that we go for a walk together. And so when you're walking, you can talk about things or not talk about things. You can talk about things that are bothering you, or you can just have a laugh it's all easy for you. It's so much easier when you're walking. And there are many scientific reasons why, but but it's absolutely true that you can talk more and talk more deeply when you're walking. So one of the things that the Brandywine Conservancy offers is a lot of places to walk. And so, Julia, I know that you can help us with that part. And then the other thing that we talked about is it's really good to have something that you are passionate about, something that you're deeply interested in, so you can involve yourself with that instead of your worries about, oh, school is coming. And parents worry about school is coming just as much as the kids do. So I just want to put that out there too. So, you've got so much between the Conservancy and the Conservancy's work and the museum and everything available there. So let's let Julia talk a little bit about, about what's available in the natural world for us.
Thanks, Dawn. Yeah, I was just making a few notes because I know it's helpful to have ways to connect to the concepts that you talk about weekly in your podcast. So, yeah, thank you for being here. I'm just going to do a very brief introduction for those of you who aren't familiar with Brandywine Conservancy. But first, I'll introduce myself since we have probably not met. My name's Julia Steiner. I'm the Public Engagement Coordinator at Brandywine Conservancy and Museum of Art. I work on Conservancy programming specifically, but I also have the pleasure of working with all museum departments on environmental initiatives. And like I mentioned, we are Brandywine, so we're a Brandywine Museum of Art, as Don mentioned, and the Brandywine Conservancy. And the Conservancy specifically was founded in 1967, so we've been around for quite a while, and we work to preserve the landscape that inspired and continues to inspire so many artists of the Brandywine Valley. And really, our mission is we conserve land, we protect water, and we like to, engage communities like I am speaking to you today here. We love to provide resources, and we're really proud of the preservation we've done in the area. We've contributed to preserving nearly 70,000 acres of land in Pennsylvania and northern Delaware.
Wow.
And yes, so it adds up every little bit. It really does add up. And I always like to mention where we're located, since we don't have a museum, but we are located on that campus where the Brandywine Museum of Art is in Chadds Ford, Pennsylvania, right on Route 1, across from the infamous Hank's Place, which just newly reopened. So a nice place to grab a meal after you come walk
Indeed.
our trails. But yep, we're located in Delaware County, right on the line there. The Brandywine Creek is the kind of the dividing line between Chester and Delaware County. So that's a little bit about us. And then I'm going to kind of jump in and just was thinking of, how best to support with all the resources that we've kind of put together to share with our audiences to support. One of our missions is getting people outside recreating, and then adding in, just being aware of our surroundings and all the just the benefit they provide, as Don mentioned. And I'm going to share some resources that we've developed. I'll share those today, and I'm going to share my screen so I can kind of walk you through them. So these will all be shared with you, so you can go back and explore them on your own because I'll talk through them. But I am
And
going.
we will post the links.
Sounds great.
Absolutely. So,
Yeah. So I'm going to take you on a little walk of some resources that we have to share with everyone. So just give me one sec. I'll share my screen. Okay.
there we go.
So welcome to the Brandywine campus, which we call our campus Preserve. It is, I was going to say, over 200 acres. Not all of it is publicly accessible. Some of it has properties and things on it, but we have a lot of land located in Chadds Ford, where the Museum of Art is. So that's where I will kind of start. So we welcome you to come visit, to experience the natural beauty, the wildlife, scenic views that are on our Chadds Ford campus. And as you can see, we're located along the Brandywine Creek, which becomes more known as Brandywine River as it heads downstream closer to Wilmington. And on our campus, you can find native plant gardens, meadows, woodlands, and wetlands. And there's also some signage to help guide you so you can learn more about our blended mission of art and environment. So we always like to invite people to start here. You can park and just kind of wander. A lot of folks wonder, like, do we have to come to the museum? No, it's open dawn to dusk, so you're welcome to come any day of the week. And you might, if you come on the weekend, see lots of people recreating on the water. We have a boat launch that people will come launch, kayaks and paddleboards and lots of inflatable, exciting things. So it's a fun place to engage with nature. So we have a story map that we've created that will be shared, but it's great because you can use it on your phone. So you don't, get lost or anything like that. But you can also, we've created it by adding more information. So you can learn about the specific trails. There's a little bit of information about the campus. We have over 5 miles of trails currently, and we're looking to expand those and grow and make them more accessible and more information to share. So currently on here, we feature 5 different trails from our campus. And as I mentioned, you can park at the museum for free. There's also a wonderful partnership we have with Chadsford Township, where one of some of our property it abuts. So we have shared trails and it's a nice partnership. So folks are welcome to park at the Chadsford Township building on Ring Road, and that's featured in here. But we just ask that people come during daylight hours so it's safe. You are welcome to bring your dog. So if you are really interested in taking your dog with you, it makes you just appreciate it more in a way to connect with your animals. You're welcome to bring your dog, leash dogs. We just ask that you pick up after them. So that's something we get asked a lot. Bring your furry friends. Cats too, if you take your cat out, but keep them on a leash. So I just wanted to kind of walk you through some of the trails. As I mentioned, our river trail, I'm going to click on that and you can see it'll highlight it's along the Brandywine. We call it the creek at this point, but sometimes it's the river. But you can see it's right next to the parking lot. As I mentioned, unfortunately, some of it is a little blocked off. We are doing construction on the museum. As some of you might have learned, we were heavily impacted by Ida a few years ago. It feels like a few years ago, but it's been more than a few. But they are flood hardening the building and we're not able to park here or access this part of the museum. But if you'd like to enter, from the parking lot and kind of walk along the creek heading north of Route 1, you can do that. And this trail, all of our trails, most of our trails are earthen or like wood chips. They're not paved, just in front of the museum, those paths are, but they're kind of a nice, soft way to connect with nature. So we just suggest wearing shoes that can get wet, that are comfortable, and some of the surfaces might be a bit uneven. So if you like to walk the river trail, I mean, it can be as long as you would like, but it's about 20 minutes. It does go under Route 1. There's an underpass there, but it really depends on how wet it is and your comfort level. But if you can definitely pass under there and continue north along the creek. There are some trails there as well.
Right.
And
So that's an out and back trail, right?
great point.
So
Yes.
so at any point you can turn around and come home. So if the kids are like, "No, we're not doing this," you're okay. You're not stranded somewhere. Yeah.
And this is a great one because, hey, if you visit the museum and you just want to add on a little bit, or you want to,
Yeah.
grab lunch at the cafe or bring a picnic lunch and add on a little more, you can, do that and then have a little walk too. Yes. And as Dawn mentioned, yeah, it's not too, you don't have to commit too much. You can always come back. So thank you for mentioning that. Yes, you can decide, you can choose your length with that one. And it's about a mile if you go out to, there is a boardwalk in the wetlands. If you go out and back, it's about a mile. But most folks kind of turn around before Route 1. So that is one of the trails. We also have, let me click to take you to our campus gardens loop. And this is the one that most people might be familiar with if you've been to our campus, is it goes around the museum. As I mentioned, you can't walk along that creek side right now, But hopefully after November it will be back open. But this is a really lovely trail if you want to be interested more in native plants. These are our native plant gardens that are maintained by our horticulture team. They do a wonderful job really planning, maintaining them. And then there are some informational, like passive and educational signs that talk a little bit more about them and their functionality. And that's one of the benefits of native plants is they are very resilient. Our entire campus was underwater and they have all come back and done
Mm.
really well. So if you're interested in, learning new things to be really passionate about, native plants are very resilient. They're very interesting and they benefit. They have many benefits to folks, even at your home. They can attract more wildlife and help with things like flooding and, with those. So yeah, we welcome you to do the campus gardens loop. This is another one, as Don was saying, if you have, you don't know how long you have in you for a walk, you can kind of just do a quick loop. Some of them are really fun and they have like kind of maze, it's like a maze. So you can go for a wander and see what you find. We also, I was gonna say, have just different, kinds of just all different types of plants and there's so much wildlife you'll see if you just stop and take a pause. We have our monarch migration station on that trail where you'll see lots of butterflies and birds and it's a really it's fun to keep coming back and seeing what's blooming. So that is the Campus Garden Loops Trail, and it's about half a mile if that. It's really not too long. And again, gravel, natural paved path. Again, your feet might get a little wet, especially if you walk in the grass. And then let's see here. If you are feeling ambitious and want to go for a really nice long walk, maybe not in the heat of summer, but if you like to get out early in the morning or take an evening walk, these are some trails that I would recommend for you. These are our Harvey Run Trail, which you can access. You can park at the township building, or you can park on our campus and kind of walk. You can follow the signs, but you cross Creek Road, which is on there, and it goes along Harvey Run, which is a tributary to the Brandywine Creek. So you can see how it connects. It wanders to the south of our campus. And that's a lovely walk that there is a buffer, a tree buffer planting that was done a number of years ago. So the trees are really mature. And if you're looking for some shade, that is a nice spot to walk through where you
Mm.
can have a little shade if you do want to walk during the day. And then it opens up into the meadows. This trail out and back, it's about round trip, it's about 2 miles. Again, this one is a grass trail, so it's not it's wet, but it's not really does not get muddy or anything like that. It's a really great spot to see lots of wildlife with the meadows. And this is a partnership with the Chatsford Township. So halfway along that trail, you transition onto Chatsford Township property. And they also have interpretive signage. Now, Potts Meadow the Potts Meadow Loop, which I'll show here, let me see here how we did this. Okay, I'm going to go back to the north. So the north goes along Route 1, and fun story, these were the first lands preserved by Brandywine Conservancy. There was
Hmm.
going to be development, industrial development, and a group of really passionate artists that were very connected to the land said, well, we can't let this happen. So they formed the Tri-State Conservancy, which became Brandywine Conservancy. So it's a really special plot of land. As you know, whenever I walk through, I just feel very grateful that it was preserved and offers that refuge for wildlife and people to go walk. And this is a shorter walk. It's about half a mile around. It's a loop trail, or you can go out and back, but you have a couple options. If you feel like going for a longer walk or a jog, maybe you like to run, that's your new interest, think something you're interested in doing. There's the Potts Meadows South Loop, and this goes a little more south and it's more extensive. And you can go out and back, or you can make a loop, lots of different options. And again, it's a grass trail. And then last but not least, if you would like to go to a wooded area, we have our art and you like meadow. This is our artist studios trail. So the Andrew Wyeth Studio, NC Wyeth. I will say this one, it's a longer walk, so it's helpful to park. You can't park where you see the trail, you kind of have to walk into it. It connects, and it's itself is about 3 miles if you do the whole walk, but you need to come in on the the Potts Meadow South Trail I showed before along Harvey Run. So this is a longer one that just to plan for because you'll need to walk in from the meadow to get there. But once you arrive, it's a wooded trail. You can kind of get as you walk around the studios, we ask that people don't kind of go up to them, but you can see them from afar and see a wooded ecosystem. It's and our offices are up there as well. So it's a nice walk. We always, when we're working, see people jogging or walking their dogs in the morning. It's much quieter, set away from Route 1, so it is a
Mhm.
quieter walk if you enjoy that. And that's another option too. And it does mention some of the accessibility on here if when you read, so you know what you're getting into and a little bit of information about the studios. And we just ask that walkers or joggers just respect the designated trail and neighbors and other property along that route. And I think that those are the trails I'll highlight. And then we've also included some tips if you're new to getting out so that you have a more positive experience and just know before you go kind of things. Make sure if you bring snacks or things, please, make sure you pack in. There's no receptacles, so pack in, pack out. We don't, no motorized vehicles or bicycles or horseback riding, if that's something you're getting into. It's more for walking and enjoying that and jogging. And then if you're into photography, you'll lots of opportunities to photograph or birding. So many opportunities for birding as well. And I will switch to our next resource that I'd really like to highlight is our Brandywine Creek Greenway app. So I'm going to go to our homepage, which I'll share as well. But the Greenway is an app. It's a free app. You can download it on Google Play or the iPhone App Store. It has been refreshed. It's been out for a little bit, but we had a wonderful opportunity to do a refresh and make it a little more user friendly and provide more information and ways to search. I apologize, I don't have an easy way to show it from my phone, but I'm just going to kind of show some screenshots of what it looks like when you use it. And as you can see, these are just some shots where if you choose, you can enable the location so that so it can see where you are. But I realized I should share a little bit about what the Brandywine Creek Greenway is. It might sound a little abstract to some of you. Um, and it's basically an initiative of the Brandywine Conservancy. It's not like a physical, it's an offering and a partnership with 25 municipal or 29, I apologize, municipal partners. And it's a 40-mile long conservation corridor that connects trails, open spaces, parks, creek access points, and other area attractions that really embrace the natural and cultural resources of the Brandywine Creek corridor. And it's really the green space that goes along the Brandywine Creek itself. So all those spaces, it's a relationship we have with municipalities to promote these resources with just to create more, healthier and sustainable communities. And they are all, available for for no fee, that so people can go enjoy. And the app shows access to 200 publicly accessible parks and preserves. It helps you find spots based on your location. So like I said, you can enable the location when you're using the app if you choose, so it can show you what's close by. You don't have to do that if you choose not to, but it's an option. And you can filter by your favorite activities. So like Dawn said, hey, I think I'm more getting really interested into biking or something like, or fishing perhaps. As you see on the screen here, you can filter by the activity if you Or you can filter by where you're located. Hey, I want to go somewhere outside that's new. I've been going to the same park over and over. I'm not finding anything super interesting. Hey, let me see what else is near me that I can check out and get more interested in. So you can filter and then, or you can also click on nearby places, and maybe you want to check out a little more information about that park. You can click on it and it'll take you to the park or preserve page here, and you can learn a little bit. It'll show you what activities you can do there. It'll tell you the township it's in because that's our municipality connection, so you know where that is. And then maybe you can learn new townships in your area or where you are. And then it has a little bit more information about that location so that um, you know what to expect when you get there. And unfortunately, we can't provide all the websites because things change, but we always recommend for optimal experience to really just, if it's not a place you're familiar with, check it out, make sure it sounds like a good fit before you go so that you have a great experience. All right. And then I'm really excited to share our next resource, and I'll show you, so here's the Google Play. It shows you kind of the breakdown. And I forgot to mention it, you can toggle to Spanish, from English to Spanish. So it has that feature as well in the corner, up at the top. You can toggle if needed, which is an added feature. All right. So next, I am going to highlight a project that we were very excited to release on National Gardening Day, which is right before Earth Day. I believe it's April 18th. This is a project that Brandywine, we were fortunate to receive funding from Allegheny Foundation to create this free resource on native plants. And it is plants that are native to Pennsylvania and northern Delaware, so Brandywine service area. But we always say that plants don't really follow political boundaries, so you might find these plants in other nearby states or locations. And it's a resource to learn more about these plants. It's for beginners, all gardeners or folks interested in of all different levels. And it's a way to find inspiration for garden design, or just learning more about plants. Don and I were speaking, and I suggested, hey, maybe you want to just take it out. You're trying to find, you find plants. You want to see what they are. Just learning more about plants that are native to the area, and maybe you'll learn that some that you thought were native are not.
Yeah,
And
so
mhm.
this is one of those things where, you know, we've been pushing for people to go places and do things that help their kids find their passion, find something that they're really interested in. And so, across the summer here, we've been talking about fishing, we've been talking about birding, but we haven't talked about flowering yet. And so here's an opportunity to really think about that, to, be interested in identifying the plants around you and to be interested in gardening as well. And so gardening doesn't just happen in the spring. We're thinking about it all the time and we're doing things particularly in the fall. So you're kind of, if this is what you're getting interested in and invested in, off you go. You're in an optimal moment. Just thought
I'm so glad you mentioned that.
I'd-
Yeah, so as I mentioned a little earlier when I was taking you on our campus trails, native plants have so many benefits. And one of them is you can continue to garden in the fall. A lot of, if you're just sticking with annuals, which are native elsewhere, just not to here, it's kind of like ends, and it's kind of like summer doesn't have to end. And I will share some of that when I take you on a drive through this resource. But plants, I always say plants, they're a wonderful way to kind of distract yourself and get really engaged. They're very neutral. They don't talk back, but
Mm.
it's a really great feature to add into your walks to make them more impactful and, paying attention while you're walking. So as part of the Brandywine Native Garden Hub, which is essentially, it's a web app, so you do not have to download it, which is really nice. It's just a website. It's nativegardenhub.org, and it is you can use it on a laptop, you can use it on iPad, an iPhone, whatever you enjoy. But if you're someone who likes to have a phone with them while they walk, that's fine. It's just a more structured way to use your phone so that you're learning and engaging in a different way. So I'm going to just kind of walk you through so you can see what it looks like. And as Don mentioned, hey, maybe you're an aspiring, native plant gardener where you want to, create spaces that are deliberately, you know, garden, like a garden, a human managed space, not found naturally, but you're looking for that. We have a feature on here that um, you can create an account. So I'm already logged in, but it's your choice. You can choose an account. Let me see if I can log out so I can show you what it looks like. But it's a wonderful feature where you can customize and you can create your own garden boards. We call them garden boards. And you can sign in, create an account. So I've already done that. And this is what I have some boards, but you can say, hey, I would love to have a garden in my front yard or a space, that I can call my first native plant garden. So you can create a new board and I'll show you. Maybe I want to title it my first native garden, whatever you like. We have this option built in that you can create a description. It's just to learn more, no pressure, just to learn more. And then this is where you pay attention a little more and you notice what your yard looks like. Or maybe it's not at your house. Maybe it's at work, or maybe it's just a community space. Maybe it's wherever you'd like it to be. There's no limitations. I noticed that it's part sun because there's some trees. So I'm going to select my garden. It has part sun. You want to feel the soil. Is it usually wet, dry? I'm going to say it's in the middle. It's a very neutral. And I noticed the soil is very loamy. It's like a healthy soil. So you can always change this. So I'm going to create a board here. I don't have any plants in my garden yet.
Ooh.
Oh no. So I don't know where to start. I'm just going to add plants. And this is what takes you to the database part where you get to kind of select and filter. So I'm going to pick a plant that I really love and I see blooming right now. Sunflowers. Okay, I'm just going to type in sunflowers because I really like sunflowers. They make me happy. I see them on my walks sometimes. And I'm going to search for that. Oh, sunflower. Oh, I didn't know there were native sunflower. There's native sunflowers. So maybe I really I like purple. I'm going to pick this one. And I see that I'm now on the plant profile page. I want to learn more about this plant. That is so pretty. We have a feature built in where you can listen to the audio to hear the Latin pronunciation. You can find out more about the plant. Hey, I see there's I can look at different photos. So we've really tried to create for each profile page a variety of photos so you can see what the plant looks like even when it's not blooming. This is what it looks like when it's just starting out. It's a little baby native plant, native coneflower, purple coneflower. This is after it's bloomed. So this is what it might look like into the fall after bloom.
Hmm.
And then this is something that we were really excited to be able to do is we try to find photos where you can see that plant among other plants because sometimes you just see that plant alone and you want to know how it looks with other plants. So this is kind of a group shot where you can see how it plays with other plants for the design piece. I want to learn more. Like, how tall does this plant get? Oh my goodness, I have no idea. I can look at attributes. I can see that it grows pretty fast. Okay. It gets pretty tall. Oh, okay, that's good to know. It tells me how wide it gets when it grows, the colors, and then the times it blooms. So you know that it blooms when you'd like it to. I can see all these additional things. Hey, it tends to be deer resistant. Oh, that's good. I have a lot of deer that like to eat my plants. Oh, it's low maintenance. And that's what I kind of say with natives. Once you get them established, not to be a lazy gardener, but it's not as, you don't have to stay on top of it as much. So you can enjoy other things. You don't have to be doing all the things every day. So, and it looks like it's recommended for homescapes. So that's nice. I don't have a lot of property or a lot of places to put it. I might be able to even put it in a container. So, and then here are some just more facts about the plant, fun facts, we kind of call them. So, oh, interesting. I learned that American and North American indigenous groups and early settlers use the roots for medicinal purposes. We're not recommending you do that. We're just sharing some facts, but we're not making food foraging recommendations in this in the database. So this sounds like a great plant. I'm going to add it to my board, and I have a few boards already created, so I will have to choose. But I'm going to put it in my first native garden, and then I'm going to add it. And now it's there. So I can go to my boards. I can go to my first native garden and I can see that I've added that coneflower. Now, I would also say, hey, maybe if you don't, have a garden, you can also add plants that just look interesting to you. You can create a board of plants that are interesting to me and go that route too. This will take you back to the beginning. I also wanted to point out, this is a fun feature too. If you want to learn, if you're getting really into plants and you want to learn the Latin names, there's a toggle feature where you can toggle it to the Latin name and then back. So you can kind of test out. I've been learning a lot as I'm using this too. Um, so that's a fun feature. And then also wanted to share that we have our own garden design boards for you to check out. These are on our Brandywine properties. So this is, we have a monarch migration station on our campus. These are plants that you will find there if you go visit. And just go back.
Yeah, that's terrific because people really are interested in, trying to save these butterflies and moths that we have and, to be able to say, okay, well, here's a start. Here are some of the things you could plant is really amazing. And I think the same is true with all of our pollinators, with the bees as well.
I'm glad you pointed that out. So that is, I'm going to get into that just next. Let me just, before I forget, I also wanted to share, there are articles in here. And as you mentioned, Dawn, maybe there's, hey, I want to provide habitat and food for bees or butterflies. We just put out an article about seasonal blooms. Hey, if I want to plant a garden, how do I make sure that there is something blooming successionally, like throughout the whole season and not just early or late? We want to make sure we provide that. So this is a blog that tells you little things to know about bees. This is specific for bees, but it benefits all native plants, benefit native wildlife. So it'll just show you, hey, these are some things you can plant in the spring, in the summer. And there's trees and shrubs here too, if you enjoy gardening with them as well. It's not always the herbaceous or the flowers specifically, and then into the fall. So that's another feature. And then I do want to share. Okay, I'm really excited. Where do I get these plants? So there is a Get Native Plants on the bottom, and that's where you can find different nurseries that have native plants. Now, these nurseries also have non-natives, but you should be able to find some natives at all of them. We have Brandywine has a native plant sale Mother's Day weekend every year on our main campus. And then our Penguin Court Preserve, which is located in Western Pennsylvania and Westmoreland County. They have a few sales that they do online and with partners. So if you're out in Western Pennsylvania and hearing this, that is another place that you purchase them. And then it goes by county alphabetically. So you can scroll down, you can see we have lots of nurseries and all over the state. And then there's also Delaware in there too. I'm just going to scroll down to the bottom because this is another piece on here that we really appreciate your feedback. You can go to contact. Hey, maybe you have a question. We're here to help. Just share your name and a way we can reach you and your message. And we usually check our email, a couple times a week. So we try to get back promptly. But we also appreciate if you just take a brief survey. How are you enjoying it? We want this to be as enjoyable, accessible, interesting as possible. So it's a very brief survey. It's like 6 questions, and one of them is your email address if you'd like us to contact you. So it's really 5. And this just helps us to improve and make sure it's meeting user needs. And then I will finish up by kind of walking you through what is going on right now at this time of year. And then to also point out how Don was saying, a lot of folks are interested in just providing habitat and food for butterflies, for example, if you're really interested in butterflies and moths and pollinators. So what's really great about the hub is we have all these search filters. So for example, I'm going to just kind of start out really broad. It's August. What is blooming in August? So I expanded the filters, and this will look different on a mobile device, but it's really pretty intuitive, and we hear that it's very easy to use based on feedback. So I look under bloom time, and this is where I can see all the months. Now, again, there is, I like to select July and August because we're kind of, we've had an interesting summer where things are a little late. I mean, I still like barely have any tomatoes
Mm.
in my vegetable garden, so
Yeah. How
it's a
about
little
that?
wild. So I like to kind of expand it a month because they don't follow all the rules, native plants. They kind of do their thing, like any plant does. So you can see, hey, here's July and August. What's going on blooming wise? So you'll maybe, again, you can toggle if you're more familiar with Latin or you're really interested in learning more about them. But you'll see it starts out with all our herbaceous plants. Here's your milkweed if you're really interested in monarch butterflies, and also milkweed beetles. They don't get as much attention, but it's a host plant, but also a source of food for other insect varieties. So you can see lots of milkweed blooming. Asters are starting to bloom. Fun fact, asters are a wonderful bloom for all types of insects. So if you're looking to like biggest bang for your buck to provide, it starts blooming now and goes into September and October. So that's a really great plant. There's so many choices, and they are just always covered in bees, butterflies, all kinds of flying insects. It's a really fun to watch if you're interested in bugs. And then I can just kind of scroll through here and see just different plants. There's the sunflowers are blooming. Um, Blazing star is a really popular one. It's purple. A lot of people like purple. And then Don mentioned, hey, I want to make sure that I'm attracting, I'm attracting what I'm looking for. So let me see here. Oh, that might be a fact. Let me see here. Something. Oh, we have bloom color and then features. Here we go. So let's see. So if I want to say I want to attract like I'm birding or I'm looking for that benefit, I can search for, I want to provide fruits and nuts. So this is again, we still have it just for now, but it's providing these food for birds. And you can scroll through here.
Mm.
And then I'm going to turn this one off because it's gotten a little specific. But another thing, a lot of people are attracted to color. If you're very visual and I really love the color orange. Here are some orange plants that you'll find. And hey, I'm really into trees. I'm learning more about trees and that kind of piece. You see here, type. I would go to type and I would choose tree. I want to focus on trees. Trees have benefit too. Now, this is what's blooming right now, so I would probably
Mhm.
just take this out. Yeah, to be too specific, but trees bloom at different times than our flowers. But hey, I want to learn more about trees and and that kind of feature. And you can look at height, different sizes, things like that. Soil type. So much to choose. We could even narrow it down by, hey, I have full sun. So finding trees that align with that. And what's I going to say? I do want to share a fun fact that I think a lot of people like they get a bad name. Is gold oh, let me turn off my filters because goldenrod is not a tree. Okay. So goldenrod is a really beneficial herbaceous plant for wildlife, for pollinators, birds. Um, and a lot of people see it and they think, oh no, I can't go for a walk in that because I have allergies. And some people are allergic to goldenrod. It can happen, but it's actually a misunderstanding. Ragweed is another
Uh,
common plant that kind of blooms and produces a lot of pollen at the same time as goldenrod, and that is commonly the cause. Uh, Ragweed's pollen is very lightweight and airborne. It blows around a lot, as opposed to goldenrod, which is a heavier and stickier pollen that's more likely carried by insects, and it's less likely to travel through the air.
hmm.
So there might be ragweed around when there's goldenrod, but I don't want people to be fearful because I do hear that a lot where you say the name and there's, oh wait, I'll have an allergic reaction. So that's just something I like to share with folks so that they can have that accurate information
Yeah.
to share. So, and I'll round it out by sharing just some upcoming events we have at Brandywine and that are kind of ongoing. We have public events that go on throughout the year. Some of them are walks, some of them are at the museum and they're more formal, we also have virtual programs. So if you're not able to come to our location, you're welcome to join from the comfort of wherever you are. And I'm just going to share our homepage. You would go to Brandywine. If you're looking for Conservancy specific, you can go to Conservancy, Museum of Art. I recommend just going to Brandywine because you can see everything. We'll click on events, and this will list all the events coming. I will say some of them are at a fee, but we do have many that are no cost or pay what you wish, so they are more accessible. You can actually search here for free events. So I wanted to show what's upcoming. I will say make sure you see if it's like in-person program. We have programs a lot at our Penguin Court Preserve in Western Pennsylvania, and we get a lot of I thought this was here. So make sure you check where it's located
Hmm.
because that is 4.5, 4 hours away, and probably maybe not if it's an in-person program. But Melissa, our program director at Penguin Court, also puts on um, a plethora of virtual offerings. So you can join those at no cost as well if you can't join there in person. But I do want to highlight the museum offers this wonderful free first Sunday. I was going to say most months. There's some months we don't due to things going on at the museum or public holidays and things like that. But the next one is going to be Sunday, September 7th. You can sign up. That's a really nice offering where you can come experience the museum at no cost. You can view the exhibitions, you can engage in art activities. Sometimes they have presenters that come in. It's a really fun art and nature combination blend. And it's all day, so you can pop in, if you have a couple hours, you don't have to be there all day. You don't have to come first thing. You can come when it's convenient for your family, and it's free. And then we also have some other events that are going on that you can kind of check out and keep coming back to. You can also sign up. I think it's at the bottom here yes, you can join the mailing list if you're interested in just getting our e-blasts. You'll get them once a week and it just kind of shares what's coming up. It's pretty it's not too obtrusive in your inbox, but it just lets you know what's going on. So you can join us. And I
Perfect.
think that's enough talking from me, but I was just
Yeah.
really excited to be on and share some of these resources to fill time before going back to school. But I also like to say these are things you can do all year, even during school.
I think that's really
Good
important
break.
in mind is that, yeah, we do need those breaks, and getting outside is one of the really great breaks for us. So to be able to be outside in a place that has plants, birds, all of those things make us feel sort of at home and make us feel safe. I always tell people, when you go out and you hear birds, just stop for a minute because that means that there's nothing going on that's bad. That's a safe moment for you because the birds
Hmm.
are not going like
Yeah.
I'm being
They
quiet.
feel safe.
They're,
Yes.
they're like, yeah, let's go.
They
So,
don't appreciate
so
loud
we
noises.
know we know that. We know that deep down.
Mhm.
So lots and lots of opportunities through the Conservancy and through the museum. So thank you so much, Julia. This was really wonderful,
You're welcome.
as usual. So
And I will say, as a former classroom teacher, you can always do your homework outside too sometimes. So read a book. If it doesn't
there
demand a
you
screen,
go.
go
Yeah.
go sit outside
Yeah.
after being inside at school.
Sit under a tree.
Yeah, yeah,
Identify it
outside
and
the
then
box.
sit under it.
Yes.
Okay.
So thank you
All
again,
right.
Don. Yes.
Thanks. See you next time.
Happy trails.